talk about the things that you think about and some things you don't. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host, and also a studio co-host as well. So hey, co-host.
Silky Smooth. I'm Winnie.
And Daydream.
As always, family, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we ask that you please join in on the conversation, where your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions help drive the conversation. Today, our conversation is going to be about checking yourself. We did a portion of this last week, but we had a jazz artist that popped in on us, and we wanted to take the opportunity to interview him because he was in town. But at any rate, in the early part of the show, oh, I forgot something. This is why I want to do champagne. This is exactly why. Winnie, could you tell us about yourself, sweetie? Oh my gosh, forgive me.
I am a new friend of Miss Marion. We met over a year ago now at work. She's been a OMG, but in this world she's OMG. She has been a huge influence to me, being involved in media and reaching out and having a message and a purpose behind what you speak. So from inspiration of her and just life, things happening, I've had the opportunity to start a new project, Her Wellness Journey TV, and it is all about women empowerment and wellness and really getting the message out there for other women to take care of yourself and love yourself, and then also give a stage to other women who are doing great things here in Houston. So it's been a blast and awesome to have OMG as a mentor to reach out and get advice and inspiration, because it's not easy. You know,
no, it's not. But you're a good student,
and she's been doing it so long, and she has a lot of advice. So it's a pleasure to be here today.
Well, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us today. Again, she just mentioned something about taking care of yourself. So here we are going back to check yourself. You know, I think last week I brought up John Singleton and probably Luke Perry for having had heart attacks at 51 years old. But I do want to reiterate that, you know, men need to get out there. Everybody needs to get out there. Women are a little bit more proactive when it comes to health because we have to take care of the man and the children. So we go and find out. But a lot of you men out there don't really go and take care of yourself, and so you need to get checked. And I know that sometimes, like in John Singleton's situation, he was not taking his blood pressure medicine. And see, blood pressure medicine can cause two things: erectile dysfunction, along with losing your hair. And if you're any way vain, either one of those things happening to a man is devastating. So I'm assuming so much so that he, and not only him, don't take their medicine, don't take their medication. You don't go to the doctor. You have to find out what's happening with you. And I have a young friend right now who's in his 40s battling prostate cancer, which I thought was an older person thing, 60s, 70s, So again, we need to take care of ourselves. So today we're going to talk about the second portion of Check Yourself. Wow. I can basically tell you, let's just say this. You went into an interview and you nailed it. I mean, you brought your A game, the interviewer liked you, and then, you all, sitting there with building camaraderie, and you're talking, you're doing all these things, and he offers you the job, but this is contingent upon your background check coming back. Now, at that moment, your heart drops just a little because all of us got something. Then you begin to worry just a bit for, damn, how far are they going to go? What avenues are they going to take to pull up what? So
every avenue.
It's
social media,
everything.
That's the biggest thing right
now. Guys,
now.
you have no clue as to what information people have on us. I invite all of you to check yourself, Google yourself, and see what it says. But they have a new company out now called Truth Finder. And Truth Finder is among some of the other major clearinghouses, such as People Looker, Been Verified, Checkmate, Criminal Watchdog, Good Hire, Intelives, and Centrelink. All of these companies do background checks. They do it for pre-employment, they do it for driving tests if you're a driver, they do it for credit reports. I mean, they're all in your business. When you go see some of the stuff that they have on you, even your parking tickets, how many times you've been arrested, what you had parking tickets for, the outcome of that, your divorce, how much money y'all don't want me to go on. Let's talk about this. Yeah, I mean, it pissed me off.
Well, you can also find stuff, just as simple, when you go to People Finder or you try to find a phone number, look up a phone number, first look up, you will find all kinds of information on yourself, stuff that you're like, what? That I forgot about this.
Yeah, pictures.
And it's crazy because it links everything. It links every place that you've lived at, every phone number that you've used, every email address,
everything.
Family members. people associated with that same address, time frames. That's what really tripped me out, is that the time frames of where you were at. So it
what
is
does
very
this have
scary.
to do with the new job? Does it? I mean, I can understand if they're staying within the confines of this job,
Well,
but
you got to make sure you are who you say you really are.
Yeah.
It's so easy to be fraud these days, to be a completely different person.
oh, so they want to make sure. I understand the education part, and you know, even credit report to a degree, depending on the type of job.
I don't see what credit report has to do with
Well,
that.
they normally do that for
Women,
financial
women.
planners, which I still didn't even get it for that.
Winnie, you can jump in at any time.
Okay. Well, no, because y'all are
She's
talking
just
about
shaking
good
her
stuff,
head
but I'm
going
listening
back
like,
and
Yeah, but the credit report. I mean, if you're a
Well, if you're
I
dealing
don't
with
know.
finances and banking,
all right,
and stuff like that, then you
maybe
need
that
credit
you agree,
report,
but if
because
you're
I
not
don't
dealing
want
with finance, if you're going in to be I don't know, a substitute teacher or something, why does your credit score have anything to do with that?
so I've been told in the job search industry and all that jazz is that it defines your character. So if you have a
Okay.
bankruptcy or if you're delinquent on certain things,
No
that
way.
may mean you're not. This is how they justify
See,
it.
that's
Wow,
awful.
that's
That
you
you're
know, it's
screening
not.
process.
you may be poor character or maybe you're not responsible.
Oh my God, that has
No.
nothing to do with your
But
character.
that's
There's
someone's
no people that have
hardships.
fallen into bankruptcy.
But-
What about medical bills? You had cancer, so what's that have to do with your character?
But see,
Right.
these people think, again, when bankruptcy happens to us as black people, it's catastrophic.
It's yeah.
But when it happens to white people, it's strategy.
Mhm.
Because they get out of that bankruptcy, and within 3 months, they've got new credit cards.
Okay, check their
You can
character.
still do that.
They kept the $900,000
You can still do
house
that.
that they just built. They kept their cars and everything.
Their integrity, their jobs, and
And
then
it
they
doesn't-
have,
it
and
doesn't
they've got
speak
friends
to-
that could put them right back in position.
Well, Donald
where
Trump,
they were.
Donald Trump being one. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, he's filed bankruptcy left and right for all kinds of businesses, but he still boasts about being a successful businessman.
Absolutely.
Right, and people believe it.
Wow, I just think it's odd that, like you said, all of that's important. I'm looking for a job to sell real estate. Why do you need to know if I caught
Well,
a
see,
case?
you
If I caught a case a couple years back.
Well, okay,
Gotta
so
feel like
yes
that.
and no to a certain extent. Let's make sure, not just locally, I get nationally why you need to do a background check for criminal records, things like that. Or what's the word? Are the people who have to register a sex offender?
Yeah.
There you go. Are you a
Yes,
sex
yes.
offender? Are you aggressive?
Do we need to
Some
know
sort of
about you?
assault, some
Mhm.
things like that.
Things that are violent.
Okay,
yeah.
Are you a klepto? Do you tend to take things that don't belong to you? I understand that to a certain extent, like you said, especially depending upon what industry, what field you're looking into.
Right.
Educators, I definitely want to know nationally what kind of background educators have. Especially if I'm
Yeah.
considering my child, my niece, to be with them, because people can put on a front real quick. We all know that.
That's what I said.
We
It's
do
our
it-
representative.
when
We
they
all
say
have a
that.
representative.
Absolutely.
Right.
You
That
gotta-
interviews for us very well.
Yeah.
We have our representative.
And if you're in law enforcement, I want to know who else kicked you out. Why were you kicked out? Why
Did
did
you
you
try to
make
kill
it over
anybody?
there?
Well,
Were you on
know,
drugs? Were you selling drugs? All right, for
Unprofessional
law
conduct.
enforcement, okay.
Unprofessional conduct.
Yeah.
Going, just
You may have just given a case for why we have all these background checks.
Yeah.
but those are certain.
But I
certain
agree.
industries.
Right now.
I think at this point, guys, we'll be right back, and you'll probably hear us going back and forth. Right now.
Right.
You're listening to the Bridge of Light Radio Network, where conversations lead to real change.
When we come back in, I'm gonna do the live read for Sam Houston. And are we gonna do 2 image reads, like public
She's
twice?
gonna.
I'm going to
do it
discuss the
for
book for
artists.
Authors Attic.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's different, and then I'll close out with
The regular show.
Okay.
And we need
and
to.
a thought for the read from the Manners Maid.
Okay, so when we come back,
You know how instead of that book,
well, you want when
now
we come
that
back,
we have a book, that's what we're using.
right? So when we come back from break, do you want me to do the live read, and then this segment was brought to you by da 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 da. Go into the live read for Sam Houston, and then you come back in with our Author's Attic segment, and that way we can close again with the
book
image
and
again.
video.
Yeah, that way we could do it twice.
30 seconds.
So you want me
And
to
that way it's not so back to back. I'll go first, and then you.
Okay,
go
go
on.
Yeah, I like it.
go into your author's attic. When she's done with that, you'll reintroduce everyone.
All about it, yeah, absolutely. And we need to, before we close out.
10 seconds.
Leave with us on our Facebook, on Twitter.
This segment has been brought to you by Sam Houston Race Park. Come out this weekend for the conclusion of the 2019 live quarter horse racing season at Sam Houston Race Park, with 50-cent beer on Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. Wiener dog races are Saturday. Post time is 7 p.m. Get a luxury suite for 10 people starting at just $2.99. Have dinner at the Winter Circle restaurant for just $30 per person, which includes admission, buffet, tax, and gratuity. It's the best deal in town. Call 281-807-8700 or go online to shrp.com for more information.
This portion of this program was brought to you by Image. I make a great employee executive etiquette training seminars where life skills meet social graces. Please check them out at www.yourbizimage.com. That's www.yourbizimage.com.
Sound like you said another word within there. And we are back. You listen to the All About You show with OMG and Friends. I am your host. I almost call myself co-host. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host today,
Silky Smooth,
Winnie Wash,
And Daydream.
and we're talking about checking yourself. We talked earlier about checking yourself medically, which we still want to reiterate, and now we're talking about checking yourself by way of background checks and find out what everybody else knows about you. So yeah, didn't you have an incident that you had a friend that had an incident?
Yeah, so we were talking last week about it because I worked in the insurance industry and you have so much information on people. You don't realize how much information can just start with your license plates. Mm-hmm. That's something you drive around in the back of your car everywhere you go.
You have to.
Yeah, you legally in the front and back here, right?
Right. Yeah, I gotta stop for that.
Yeah, you have to. But you think about it in a safety sense, it's great because if someone has an accident,
See, they make it sound like
you
it's for
provide that
you.
information. But there are so many systems out there. Akron and ISO is one we use in the insurance industry where if I have that, I can find you, your mom, your best friend, your cousin, your social, everything. And this is access to people who are not police officers or even have high credentials. You can be an insurance adjuster and you get that online.
Right.
You get that certification online for a couple $100.
Right.
And that information is privileged to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's something when you say your information is out there, no, it's really out there.
This is what I want
So-
people to know.
So are insurance people and people who have access to that information, are they required to have some sort of psychological exams?
Oh no.
Because my thing is that's a stalker.
Well, yeah,
That's
some
like
type of
professional
they're not
stalking
even
system.
you don't have to stalk
A
anyone. They can
professional
find
stalking
you. They've got
system.
all the information and all the tools to actually locate you. Years ago, if you had a boyfriend that was irate and y'all broke up and he's mad, he has to look for you. He has to drive the neighborhood, ask your girlfriends where you are.
Or that crazy
Now,
girl, she had to round up
okay.
her crew.
Absolutely. Breaking windows and stuff. But now they can just go straight online.
And
they will
really
be at
torment
your
you,
door
torment
and
you,
knock
make
at
your life
door.
miserable.
That's scary to me. I don't
Yeah,
understand. how
especially
that
with
happens.
social media. That gives you. People put so much information out there, and we've talked about this
we
before.
give it
You know,
away. That's
yeah,
what- they don't.
we
We
are
volunteer
on
it.
social media for show purposes,
Right.
For work purposes. But I was not on social media. I
Neither was
refused
I.
to do it, had no interest in it, and I still don't. I mean, I get in my moods every now and then. I'll, have some fun with it, but for the most part, I don't want to do it.
Well, you don't have to be on social media. Your Google account. So if you use Google
So
Maps,
anything.
it's
Any-
tracking
Are you
where you've
absolutely.
been.
So it's
Yeah, it
everything.
does. Because sometimes it will ask you once.
Have you been back there?
Yeah. Like, oh, what
No,
is
are you
that?
kidding? Even just your GPS.
Mhm.
It remembers your place.
Well, you
do you
guys-
want to favorite this? You've been here such and such times. What?
How do you know?
That
Take
bothers
all
me.
that off.
That bothers
Really?
me that
Yeah.
they have that much access to where you are. Somebody knows where you are every moment of the day.
And that information is being used for marketing purposes. So that stuff is not just being collected. So hey,
It has nothing to do with safety.
No,
No.
it's being
Nothing.
sold. There are companies that market you, and there are things that you get advertisements or different things like that because they're collecting that information on you.
Right.
Right,
it's
because
all
even
for profit.
Facebook's ads, they'll say things like, people your age are typically interested in this.
Mutual
I'm like,
friends.
I'm like, and I
Same
don't
interest.
have my age showing on there, but Facebook knows, and they're sending makeup for people in my age group. The type of clothes that so called
so
people in my age
I'm
group
gonna
would want
say
to wear.
y'all wanted technology. I
Right.
don't want it. I never wanted it which is why I still use paper. I just don't like it. There's something because see, always they put it out there like we're doing this for you. I remember when LoJack came out and everybody was all excited he had LoJack. Well, if I lock my keys in my car, somebody from somewhere else can unlock my car. Well, I'm that person who thinks on the other side of that. So if they can unlock your car for you, these people can lock you in your car.
Absolutely.
So
Or
people-
lock you out of
people
your
don't
car.
understand.
And out of your home
And
for
now
all
you
those with smart
have
homes.
these. I was going to say you have these smart homes. You got
I
Alexa
definitely want a
running
smart
every
home.
damn thing.
I'll
She's
keep my home
listening.
stupid.
She's reporting.
And we've said it. We've said this for
We've
years.
said this
Alexa,
last
Siri,
4
all of them are
years.
listening. Well, I feel
Yup.
like they're listening because we were talking about this, and all of a sudden my Bitmoji now has a kangaroo on it. It has this bunny
Because
phrase, or I got an ad for this and that in my social media. Yes, they are, and it even came out recently, if not last week, the week before. So within the last 2 weeks, how they admitted absolutely Alexa and Siri are listening.
Yes.
And you know,
Well, this too.
you're-
It's always listening.
It's everything. It's
look
not
at
just,
look
it's
at the
everything that
updates.
you have.
Microphone on, this and this, and you can't say no because then you can't use it.
Right.
You know?
That's
So,
the trick, right?
Really quickly, thank you everyone who's been following along on our Facebook feed. Give us a call here at the studio, 713-789-0096. You can also text us at 833-664-OMGNU. That's 833-664-2638. Shout out, yes, Mom. Hello, Mom.
Hey,
Love
Mom.
you. Always listening. We have quite a few people giving all kinds of information. Melanie Clark let us know. She's like, I work for a law enforcement agency, and you will not believe the type of information they can pull up on you. Yes, this is true. I remember.
Thanks, Melanie.
I remember I
Absolutely.
got pulled over for something, and I didn't have a work badge. I didn't have a jacket with anything to say where I worked at. And they looked and they're like, "Oh, you work for so and so." Why do you need to know where I work at?
Exactly.
Yeah.
For my plate, you know, you already have my home address. What does that have to do with anything? We also have Quinnan Terry, Mohawk Black.
Right there.
Felipe, hello Theo. He says, "What about the president? Is he above the law?" Well, what do you
Somewhat,
think?
I would think so
Yeah.
because yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yep,
He's got
absolutely.
that privileged
Right.
skin tone. You know what I mean?
Yes, and Melanie says, "This is why I tell the kids I mentor to be extremely careful what they put on social media
It
because
stays
they will
there.
check." Absolutely.
I feel
Yep. They can also ping into your phone and get your info. Yes.
there it is.
Yeah.
Everything's controlled. They're the eyes up above, people.
Right.
You know, the eyes are
But
everywhere.
we agree to it. So when you download
That's
those
exactly
apps
right.
and you agree those terms and conditions,
And the
how
small
many of you
print.
have read it? I never read
No,
terms
I
and
was going to say
conditions when you
small
download.
print. Nobody reads. Just hit.
Yeah.
Just click.
Agree.
The one time that you did, you freaked out.
Tell them about that. Did I not? I was tripped. I'll go straight there. You know.
Can
That's
you
the
see
one
this?
you-
It says I have to give up this and this and this and this and that.
I'm
It's
not
like,
doing that.
Yeah, this was some tax
All kinds-
information, and they wanted government this, and I was like, I'm not doing that. And so at some point, and see, I'm not the most agreeable person when it comes to authority sometimes. So I will argue because I don't think I have. Why should I have to do this?
Right.
Why do you need this information? You know, the other day I'm driving, minding my own business. I take this route for the
course
last
you
year,
would.
going to Conroe. I'm cruising. So out of nowhere, it's like it was all out. You know how sometimes you feel things? On my way to work, I see a state trooper off to the left. Now I'm over like in the middle lane. Now granted, my registration was expired. However, wait a minute. I had my car inspected. I had the receipt on me. I went to do it a couple of days before, but it was too crowded. But I had all the paperwork with me. So the state trooper pulls me over, and he says, "I'm trying to figure out. I know you can't see my damn thing from there. Why the hell are you pulling me over?" So then he walks around the front of the car where this car doesn't have a license plate on the front. Now on a Porsche, there is no place for a license plate.
Right, it's a luxury vehicle.
So just 2 days ago, I went and got my inspection sticker, and I decided to get a temporary plate and put it in my windshield. But it's like you stopped me out of nowhere, and then he asked me all these questions. But do you still live here? He went back to it's almost like, I don't know. It seemed like it was a game, like it was some, I don't know what it was. He gave me a warning. So he didn't give me a ticket, but the bottom line is you stopped me. I was I wasn't going fast, lights and everything working, blinkers.
Yeah, he just stopped you.
You just stopped me. And so, you don't know
He wanted to see who was driving in that car.
I don't know what that is, but there are other cars rolling down the street better than mine. Now, ain't got me in there, but just teasing, guys.
That's what it
Yeah,
was.
but
That you and
that just did, and he was a young guy. He was really nice. He gave me the and when I went to go pay my registration at the courthouse yesterday, first thing she asked me was, "Do you have a ticket?" So I'm assuming if I had a ticket, she was going to be able to help me. But
It's an additional fee if you come in to get your.
are you kidding me?
Your ticket is additional fee.
See, that's, oh, I thought she was trying to help me.
No,
girl, I
not
had
at all.
attitude. I was like, no, girl, I got this thing.
No, it's additional fee, and you
What?
need to get it taken care of, and this and this and that, and move on about your business. All about money.
Oh, in other words, get rid of it as if it never happened.
Well,
It's an extra
wait a
fee.
minute.
That's what
When
it
No,
when
not
it
get
show,
rid of
when
it.
it show up when I went to go pay my bill, it would already be there.
Yes.
Everything's already
Oh,
in the
hell.
database.
See, this is too much
They
information.
would tell
It's
you,
too fast.
this is your registration, and then you also got a ticket. So basically, you're getting a fine because you got a fine.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and
This is a
additional this
setup.
and that because you received a ticket for during that time that you were out of compliance.
This is a setup.
Well, I already have a court date. Well, you still got to pay this fee if you want your registration.
Oh my gosh.
Because when you go to your court date, you need to have that receipt showing that your stuff is not current.
Mm-hmm.
So you're paying for
Well,
that.
luckily, I had all of my stuff. I always do the anticipatory thing, and just in case they stop me. So I had everything. I had the, you know, he's piercing in, in my passenger seat because my purse was there, and I was pulled over on 45, so he didn't want to come on the side of the freeway.
Mhm.
But he was just all in the car, and I was like, that, my space.
Give me 50 feet.
Yeah, I really like that.
But
You know,
it's not just your. Sorry to cut you off, Miss OSG.
That's okay.
Just to let y'all know, it's not just your data, like your name, your social. It's your iris. It's your fingerprint. It's
Tell
your
them about
face.
your thing that they
So
customs.
we were talking about that because I came back from Mexico. Getting into Mexico, there was a long line. Customs is everything paperwork, right? We're all lined up at the airport. I got back to Houston. The line is moving really, really fast. What is going on? So when you get to this little kiosk, you lay your passport on a scanner. Then you lay your boarding pass and you look up to press something. It takes a picture of your face.
Absolutely.
It recognizes your face and it prints a thing and says, "Hey, thanks. You can go ahead."
Facial
that's-
recognition.
Where did
is
you get my
everywhere.
face
See,
from?
that's kind of
I haven't traveled out of the country in over 10 years.
You know the scanners for security that they said it's safer and all that because they're scanning everything. It's body scanning, it's facial recognition,
biometrics.
Absolutely. So that's how
that
they get.
coupled with this check yourself, you can't get away.
Not at all.
But yet, if somebody were to rob a little ATM machine, they can't find the picture's not clear. They can't-
Yeah. They're like,
I know,
the child
camera
was
wasn't working,
kidnapped,
that
everything was
wasn't
going
working.
in.
Yeah, right.
We
They
don't.
caught a picture of me going through a red light. They could tell what color lipstick. I
Yeah.
had.
But those red light cameras are being used for everything.
I'm telling you.
They can locate your car.
They threw it.
everything.
It was fear mongering to get us to approve it. Okay, your safety. What about
Oh,
this?
it's
And stuff. If you get
always that. It's
kidnapped,
always that.
we're gonna. If you get assaulted, we can have a clear picture.
can't-
You don't
can't
use
do
it for
the
any of
ATM
that.
Machine. You can't
Right.
do the ATM.
You don't use it for any of that. But if you needed to find me because I owe the IRS,
Then you can hunt me down.
$5,000 or whatever,
They know
all of a
exactly
sudden
where
you're
you
hitting
are.
up everybody's address that
That's
I've ever
true.
been to.
And phone number. They're calling your grandmother.
Hey, I got a phone call for you. Like, what? The IRS looking for you. I don't know.
See, that's what I'm talking about. When you really need
IRS
it, it
call for
doesn't
you.
work.
They
But
need
when
to
they
be
want
here,
your
yeah.
information, and like I said, we gave it to them. Years ago, we had to go through the process. If somebody wanted to, most stuff is public information. And I'm going to throw this out there. I'm not sure if you guys are privy to this, but you do know once your birth certificate is turned in that you are submitted to the New York Stock Exchange. Are you aware of that?
I read articles online about that.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that on another show. But yes, you are part of you are owned by the United States.
To see how
Makes
much you're
sense
worth.
because you always have to pay your taxes.
Well,
you're
Bob,
never done paying your
You're
taxes.
never done, but bottom line is you were traded on the New York Stock Exchange. And also people don't know that when you drive from state to state, it is not required that you have a license. A license is only required when you are transporting commercial goods from state to state. But see, most people don't know that. And those that do, if they get stopped by the police, they'll tell them up front, you can't stop me because I don't have to have a license to drive drive nationally.
Really?
See, a lot of stuff we just don't know because they assess all these fees. So now
So then why do we get a ticket if we don't have a driver's license
I don't
on
know
us?
because they fear, like you said, they create that fear. You are not required to have a driver's license to drive from here to DC to New York, Philadelphia.
See, I thought you were.
Oh,
You
I
have
don't
to
wanna
have it on your
jinx myself.
person.
I
I
don't
thought
want
you
to
have
jinx
to have it on
myself.
your person.
I've gotten to where I
There's a lot we don't know.
I don't carry my license with me. I have my passport though, because I'm more concerned about that issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
for you.
I make sure to have my passport.
We
And they'll
all have
ask, well,
our
what
own
about your
thing.
license? And I said, well, I switched out purses. I forgot it, But I have my passport they don't question it. You know, because you can obviously just go into your vehicle and pull up, same picture, same information. Yes, it's obviously me. But I remember before that I've gotten tickets before for not having my driver's license on me.
Absolutely.
You have to have some type of state issued ID, I think is the rule they're
This is
saying.
all about
Okay, well, I
money.
previously worked for law enforcement. How was that not state issued? I handed them that, and they still wanted to be buttholes about it. To
Well,
be
what is
nice.
the
Right.
new thing that's on your license now?
The
Mine
star?
doesn't come up till next year, but it's something having federal clearance.
So
What the hell?
if
That's
you
on your
notice,
driver's license.
if you notice, people on your driver's license, you're gonna have a small gold star on somewhere on it. When
Yeah.
you're looking at it, it should be somewhere like on the right,
It's kind of
Top
reflective,
right.
like.
and not so
No.
much reflective. It's
It's
a
just a
visible
gold star.
gold star.
I think I know what
And
you're talking
so,
about, yeah.
the way I found out is because I saw it and I hadn't paid attention to that before, so I looked it up to see what it meant. And I also had Fort Bend County, just south of Houston, Sugarland. I had one of those officers who saw my license, my driver's license, and he asked his partners, like, "Oh, does this mean she's one of us?" And I assumed law enforcement.
What? Okay.
I assumed law enforcement. Okay, didn't even think about that, but I assumed he meant law enforcement because it had the star in Texas, the star for law enforcement, right? And he looked at it. He goes, "Oh no, that's she's federally cleared."
You hear that, people?
You're federally
cleared.
When I went and got my driver's license, I showed them my passport as my ID in order to prove who I was in order to get it. That's how I was federally cleared.
Wow.
So technically, I can travel with just my driver's license. I don't need my passport the way they tell you that you need.
That's what
Why
I'm
are they
telling-
forcing
that-
people to get their
again, they
passports?
are lying.
Facial recognition.
That's
Yeah,
right. So I told you.
They can document it.
There's because they're trying to say that even when you fly nationally, you still need a passport because of security purposes.
See, that's all crap.
Yeah.
Like I said,
And
we're able to drive from state to state and never own a license.
Yeah.
There are people who were privy to that when they were stopped, and they backed the officer down because they were right. See, again, it's like knowing your rights.
Education.
You have to know, and see, a lot of people don't pay attention, and it's
So
something
you
we
don't
bring-
have to have your passport. You don't have. You're saying you don't have to have a driver's license either.
You don't have to have a driver's license to drive nationally in this.
Okay, so
country.
as long as you're
Now, if you go again, driver's licenses are required for commercial vehicles
right
going from state to
it's a
state.
state. Okay.
But you just in your car going
Driving.
to New York, you do not have a license. But again, the system and society has created yet another reason to be in your pocket.
Right.
So they've attached all these fees and registrations and all this stuff, and now your license, and like Winnie was saying, having them, as you're doing something else that they're asking you to do, they're being covert by taking a quick picture of your eyes and, your
Right.
thumbprint and
For
all of this is crap.
Right, and for all those who love that self-checkout counter,
Mm.
hello people,
There's a camera on it.
cameras right
Oh
there.
yeah.
Cameras right there. It doesn't matter if you
don't.
don't look up. You can even look down, and there's still cameras down there at the bottom.
Right. Look.
There's cameras everywhere.
Because one time it startled me. A woman, I said, "Whoa, wait a minute." I was like, "That is not a good." Let's see if I can get this. Put it over here.
Yeah,
It
I
was
wasn't quite
terrible.
right on that picture.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe. Joe, we're still waiting for you to come on this.
Come on in here,
come
Joe.
into the
Stop
rotating
playing with
chair. We're
us.
waiting
Come
on you.
on.
But Joe Lacey, he says Facebook is the worst.
It is.
I swear the other day I was speaking about wanting a new car, opened my Facebook, and bam, car
There it
promotions
is.
covered my
Yeah.
newsfeed down to the brand and competitor brands I was speaking
Wow.
about.
See, this
Siri and other program phone apps, listen to us daily. #stay woke. Absolutely.
That's right.
we try to tell them this is why we're here. We don't talk about celebrity stuff very rarely. Very rarely do we talk about twerking and the Kardashians and things of that are miscellaneous and nondescript. We're actually talking about things that you need to know about.
Right.
And one of our mission statements is pretty much to help you have the information that you need should something come down, because a lot of these stations you listen to with all the 102 and what's in her purse and ignorant news, those things won't tell you anything. If something comes down and your neighborhood your black community needs to have some information, or your Hispanic community, they're going to censor that information.
Right.
So it's just amazing to me why you want to be enthralled with celebrities' lives, because they don't really care about you.
Well, it's easier to deal with other people's problems than your own, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can watch Kim have her 4th kid, and it's the greatest baby ever. But meanwhile, I got
You still got real life. You still have
But I
real
don't want to
life.
deal with that. I want to scroll
see, it
and look at
doesn't
her
go
problems.
away.
You're eating some ramen noodles.
Yeah.
now. Oh,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
But it doesn't go
I'm living my
away.
best life.
It's just, it doesn't go away. It's just something you have to do. I'm all about, again, the show is all about you. I'm about you and you and you and all of you out there. That's what we're doing here. And so it's to try to promote thinking, and I think this is the symbol here for in sign language. Think for yourself. That's what we want to do. Think for yourself.
Okay. Good to know.
But wow, yeah.
Good
So
to know.
you know, again, during the earlier times before, you know, a lot of people see TV and they think they see background checks, and they have some girl go in the back and come back and she's got this printout. It doesn't work like that. They have so many agencies that are all linked together, from criminal to driving record to and also you have to have one for getting a gun. I think that's still happening.
Yes, you're supposed to, but this is Texas, so there's
I
ways
don't know.
around,
You know,
ways
because-
around that.
Because I don't think they've done a good job in gun control and giving.
Oh,
guns
yeah.
to
No,
people.
absolutely not, because it feeds into their propaganda.
Yes.
You know, so let's not enforce background checks and whatever else is required in order to own a gun. You can still own it freely, you just can't carry it freely, okay? You have to let them know when you have a concealed weapon on you, which, you know, that's just courtesy in my opinion. But let's not enforce that, so that way when horrible things happen to people, we can use that to threaten to take away your rights to carry arms, to bear arms, and we're feeling threatened that something's going to get taken away from us. We rush to go buy, supply and demand, they jack up the price, and it's just a vicious cycle over and over and over again.
Well, it says here that there will be no privacy in the future, and that it does not matter whether you think it's good or bad, and maybe you truly believe that privacy is a basic human right and should be respected and protected. Who cares about that? Nobody cares about your beliefs or what you think. Technology will make this concept obsolete. There will be just no such thing as privacy.
Yeah.
I think we're already
Even
there.
though that is part
I
of
think we're already there.
the Declaration of Human Rights, that what was there, Eleanor Roosevelt had created with the United Nations, and it does talk about a right to privacy, but I guess it's
That's
becoming
gone.
a
Well, see, we
farce
gave
or
it away
just
freely.
a,
I mean, I think they
joke,
played us.
yeah.
We did a show on what Pimp played and punked and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, because
Pimp played,
they do so
absolutely.
much
Yeah,
stuff,
punked and played.
and I try to keep it lively, but keep it real, because we're just being manipulated like a little
Freely.
It fits in with my name, Marionette.
I don't know if you all seen it on Netflix. It's Black Mirror. If you haven't,
No.
it's creepy.
We've talked about it.
You mentioned it to me.
We
I was
have
afraid
talked
to
about
see
it.
What
it.
y'all are talking about is what they basically put on that
Mhm.
show, and that show is kind of predicting where we're going. It
What is
takes
this? I haven't
little
seen
things.
it.
all
She mentioned it
all
to me.
entertainment,
Mhm.
okay?
It's
all
giving you
entertainment
precursors.
is letting us, like you said, precursors, letting us know what's about to happen, but they put it in entertainment form.
So you don't pay attention.
So we don't pay attention, or okay, this and that, and that way when it does happen, we just continue to go with it.
Because they've already programmed you and desensitized you towards anything. We don't care about anything now. And this is, you know, again, this is one of the reasons that, you know, I decided to write this book, because the main thing that needs to take place is we need to care about each other.
Yeah.
And we don't only do that when we have a crisis, like a hurricane,
There's something.
a flood. That's the only time we take care of each other.
Right, only, like you said, in crisis and tragedy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
not just in day to day.
Not just in the day-to-day
day-to-day lives.
take
And
care
we
of
should
people.
do-
We should on a regular
We still
basis.
should take care of each other,
Absolutely.
even in just the day to day situations.
Right. So what you gonna say?
I don't know, I completely forgot.
It's David's
I'm-
birthday now.
Yes, David.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Happy
Just thought about that.
birthday
That
to
alcohol
you.
and another plate. Leave it at that.
We gotta play a birthday song for her.
Good grief. There was something I was gonna say, and I have no idea. It'll come back. It'll come back on what it
We may be
was.
gone by then, but
Maybe
that's
so.
The
Maybe so.
conversation
Okay.
goes on once we leave. Isn't that what you
Oh, absolutely. It always continues.
Yeah.
We doesn't just because the show stops doesn't mean the conversation stops.
Right.
You know, so I'm just trying to figure out what it is. Well, there's nothing we can do. So, when you have this much information or access to this much information with insurance, how much of it do you use and how much do you discard?
Well, in insurance, you use a lot of it because of fraud. In that aspect, it can be used appropriately for fraud. People lie and say, "Oh, I was on 610 in the back seat when they had a car accident." Well, then they pick
Traffic
up
cams.
traffic cams. They pick up pings off your cell phone. No, you were off at 59
See,
in
I don't like
Sugarland.
it. Don't make a lie
So,
about my stuff.
well,
it's
Companies are losing billions of dollars annually for this, and I tell people that because insurance fraud is big. And back in the 90s and before, you could get away with it. Like we know, there's so much on you. There's cameras watching you, the devices, the IP addresses you're logging into. All of that stuff is documented.
So you can't do anything if you wanted to.
No, well they try. So you use it to try to find fraud, but then a lot of it's more information than you would probably need at that level of insurance that I dealt with. Now there are bigger claims and things that happen, But overall, it is a tool. It is. And there are people, unfortunately, we have to have that kind of information because people are bad. There are bad guys, you know. Our rates here in Houston are high. So the good thing is when you catch fraud, your insurance is really high right now, but imagine if they didn't, how much those rates would be on your car and your home. But a lot of it is out there, and a lot of people see it daily.
It's too much information. It makes me nervous.
Right. Thank you, Luis Ace. He says, in regards to Alexa, Siri, Facebook collecting data, we know they do it, yet individuals still purchase, have accounts, etc. If you do not like Facebook taking your data, delete it. It's a free platform. Is it wrong? Yes. However, not required. We just have become dependent on it.
And that's what they had. That's what they
convenient.
had in place, even with the phone. They created that need for a phone. You know, because I think our lives were better. More marriages stayed together when there was no phone.
Well, yeah, because everything in the dark didn't come to light.
You can't
screenshot anymore.
That's what I was gonna get at.
Okay,
so
exactly.
look, yes, that's what it is. Okay, so we're talking about how everything, they can find everything. It's so readily accessible. They've always been listening. They've always been watching us. The thing is, we weren't aware of it. We couldn't see it, and they were more slick about it.
Well,
more covert. Yes, absolutely.
Show.
Think about it. Those who love Peaky Blinders, and so on Netflix, all right, 1900s, 1920s gangster family, right? So it goes into how out of nowhere, the British Empire, you know, they're using him. Or you're a criminal. Well, let's use you to do our dirty work.
Oh yeah.
You know, but yet we're still going to punish you for being the criminal that we need you to be.
Right.
So, but they would come through, and you know, you'd have spies in there, female spies. You're doing it for the good of the nation. It's for the king. It's for this and that. Well, that's how it was brought to us back then, and now they don't need to do all that. Well, you know, now they can just, hey, look how fun this is, or look at this snap filter. Look how cute you look. That's all facial recognition.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what it is.
That scares me.
Or even recently, the 10-year Facebook challenge.
Oh,
show your first picture,
about that.
your very first profile picture that you ever posted, and what you look like 10 years later. Let's see how much you've changed.
We talked about that.
Hello?
We did a show on that.
That was all for facial recognition.
Yeah, those are really good topics, and you know, we really try to keep you abreast of what's happening because it's happening faster. Well, it's already in place.
Yeah.
You know, the Jetsons. We're now into that whole mode with, you know, my grandson yesterday told Alexa, I told my daughter about having this stuff. You know, I go in her house and I'm a straight conspiracy theorist, right? So, get rid of this, get rid of that, Mommy. You need to go back to your house.
I unplugged my friend's stuff. I see it, I unplug it.
But my grandson, when I walked in, he was on the computer, and so I said, hey, grandson. He said, hey, Grandy. He said, I just told Alexa to tell Roomba to go home. So my daughter must have told Alexa to turn the Roomba on to vacuum the room. Well, Clay has decided that he told it to go home. And so the Roomba just turned back around and went back to his base. Yeah.
Well,
so
that's the norm for him. So imagine this won't be a conversation or concern for him because this is all he's ever
He's
done.
already used to it. Yesterday I get there's a trash can that does this and it opens up. I'm like, you are just, it scares me because she's such a prime candidate for the damn mark of the beast.
Yes.
She'll not just her. I mean, young people, they would rather have a chip in their arm to do whatever
Convenient.
than to have this.
Oh,
Okay? Because we're getting ready to get away from this. And again, all the tracking is there, all the setup is there. So you need to check yourself because, like I said, based on what information technology has provided, they know more about us than we do.
right.
I even realized I forgot where I lived years ago. Forgot the address. You know, as a child, you remember where you grew up, and then there's another place you're not sure where you live. You know, the address because you got older. Like, was that 915? What was that?
Right.
Well, they had it.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what the address was. And so it frightened me that, and also I've read that it can have aliases. Whatever aliases you signed up with Facebook for, it can tie that to you as well.
Every time you change a little cute username of yours. Absolutely. We'll have to go to break. We'll be right back after this.
You are listening to The Bridge. Share your opinion by calling 713-789-0096. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm your clock card.
Just as you was talking about that, they added some more episodes for it. They're going to in June.
I haven't what?
Black Mirror.
It's
Black
creepy.
Mirror.
though.
You need to watch it.
It's like Twilight Zone, but like you know.
But see, I don't watch stuff like that.
They have like the episode with they put the contacts in.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's kind of what
Was it
we
Google-
mentioned because it
Google
was one of
eyeglasses,
my
somebody that's the same
one of my girlfriends had said, "Oh, that's just like an episode of Black Mirror." This and this. I haven't watched it yet, but it's next. It's
comes
next on my
Netflix?
list.
Mhm.
See,
It's
I
called
don't-
Black
And
Mirror?
it's far into the seasons that you can binge watch it.
Yeah, it's
So-
so it's good, but it's scary. You kind of like cringe just
I'm
a
too
little bit.
afraid to see stuff
But
like
it's
that. I
but
guard
it's
my
not
spirit.
like
Like I said, it's like Twilight Zone. It's like
Yeah.
Twilight Zone.
And I
It's
like
good.
Twilight Zone I
Twilight
liked.
Zone.
I used to like
I
that
know,
now.
I
really
Hitchcock.
like this stuff.
It's
But
like
even
that.
then, they were telling you what they're gonna
They
do.
were telling. They've been telling us. Listen, Mark. Well, we need to be on the air. What's thing told us years ago?
That was the
I'll let
that
you
was
know
the
right
agreement
now.
between
I'll let
good
you
and
know right
evil.
now. that
You
the
gotta
first-
let them know what you're gonna do.
I'll let
That's
you know right
fine.
now, the
We'll
first
for you
episode-
entertainment.
It's borders, yeah.
She don't
you
do
ready to
that.
come back?
I have enough. I have to make sure he got enough sleep. Make sure birthday girl got hers.
You ready to come back?
Yeah. Are you reading or are you doing? Reading again?
The Sammy stuff.
I'll let you know the first episode is kind of out there though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll do
But
another
it's
Sammy
good.
Sin
It's
read.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about that.
Come out this weekend for the conclusion of the 2019 live quarter horse racing season at Sam Houston Race Park with 50-cent beer on Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. Wiener dog races are Saturday. Post time is 7 p.m. Get a luxury suite for 10 people starting at just $2.99. Have dinner at the Winter Circle restaurant for just $30 a person, which includes admission, buffet, tax, and gratuity. It's the best deal in town. For more information, call 281-807-8700 or go online to shrp.com.
And yes, we're back. We're talking about, again, check yourself. And we have a studio co-host here with us who's in the insurance business. And what type of information, because you're given such a plethora of information, how do you extrapolate what you need? How does an employer decide, well, do I want their criminal record or do I want to pay attention to their credit report? You have so much information that's overwhelming. I guess I see why people get that call. Well, we can't hire you because your background, yeah. I remember when I had one.
And they'll do it after they've extended the offer. They have to rescind the offer,
I know, right? So
Because they're
should-
waiting, yeah.
Because they're waiting, and once they get that, and I think by law they have to tell you what it is.
You have to have access to the records.
Okay.
You can request the records, whatever they pull.
But they can't tell you why they chose not to hire you, right?
I don't think
I don't
not
believe
in
that.
Texas because it's at will. They can just say, "Well, we're just
We
not
don't
going
I
like
don't
hair,
want
we don't
to,
like
yeah.
your hair color.
Yeah, we really, yeah.
I
Texas
like your
does.
looks after all.
Texas
yeah.
is
And
so
that's-
different.
Right, and that's what people need to keep in mind also. These laws aren't universal. It all depends on the state
The
that you live
geographical
in.
your governing
location, and
body.
Texas is probably is one of the few states that you see fly their flag with the United States.
Mhm.
You don't see anybody else.
Because
do
we
that.
were our own union, that's why. Lone Star proud, absolutely.
You don't see anybody else do that. No, but Texas is absolutely different. But they have these background checks for employment, and they're checking. Again, your marital status. What does that matter? I thought you were saying something earlier, Winnie, about something kind of I thought was ridiculous that they checked even for.
Oh, we were talking about your Amazon Kindle and how you don't.
Oh,
Use
I
Kindle.
don't use Kindle. Yes, apps will come on your phone, on your tablet, but I don't need them to know what I'm reading.
And see, I have a
It's
friend
not
that
in
works
the
in
business.
security business, and he claims I didn't do my research on it, that all of this information is associated with your aliases, your names, and this can be something that is determining your factoring of your actual credit score. Because if you're reading the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, well, then are you a scholar? No one's sitting down reading that, So he claims, and he's done a lot with cameras in that industry, and he claims that this information is all being collected and compiled for a particular reason. So.
Well, you said
Well,
from
then
the
I
books
know
that
they're
they
having
read.
a good time with mine then because I've got scholarly works and all kinds of
You
things.
probably have a great.
Ooh, and they
credit
know
score.
your level of freak too.
Ah,
Think about that,
What
people.
they do.
No.
I believe that everything that we're being exposed to is capturing our image.
Right.
I don't care what it is. I don't care when you think you're in your most intimate moments with someone. I don't buy any of that.
At work, my the computer I use has a camera built in, and they laugh at me and they
I
roll
have
their
mine
eyes.
covered up.
Why?
I have
Because
mine covered up.
Daydream has
I have
hers
mine
covered up.
She was at my office the other that piece of tape.
They're
Look
like,
at that.
yeah, they're like, oh, come on, you're one of those people. I am one of those people. I said, let them see everything else that y'all have going on. That's fine. I said,
Yeah.
but,
Your mic is still on. They're still listening. No, I'm joking.
no, mine are.
No, but they are.
I do. I have the speakers taken off, everything disabled, unplugged. Yeah.
Even
So
if it's off, is it off?
never.
Well, there's the jokes now on the internet. You'll see the memes like, "Oh, my FBI agent is listening." Blah 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 blah.
Right.
It's a joke. I don't know how much of a joke it is.
I don't
It's
take
not-
That, I don't take that to be
No.
funny. No.
No, I don't
It's
think
true.
It's funny.
It's
I-
real. So if you don't want them to listen, even when you turn, oh, it's on lock, I don't have it on, I don't have any apps open, turn off your phone and pull out the battery. Now they can't listen.
Well, I can't take my battery out. I don't know if you all can, but I can't take my battery out.
Not out of Apple, you can't.
So it's not even like you can't. You really
So turn it
shut
off
them
and
down?
leave
I'll
this
keep
issue in
my,
the car.
my Android because I can take mine out. Take my battery.
Well,
Better
I
hope
leave
it
my phone in one room and I sleep and live in the other room. I don't take it to the bath. I'm not that person.
Right.
I could go get to the Beltway from my house and realize that this is at the house on the table. I will not turn around.
Wow.
I just look at that as God's giving me a day of a break. I don't need all this because it's too much. And
That's a
so I
different
think
level of
when you're obsessed with it, people take it to the bed. That's how they drop it in the toilet.
Yeah, I don't like to do that. No, I don't take it to the bathroom because
Because you have it in your back pocket and then you
Right,
pull it
because
out.
that
I've
happens.
been done that with my bar blades. I'm like, oh, I forgot it was back there.
You gotta go get.
And therein lies the problem. I don't do that.
But it's not just your phone. Everything is smart. Your TV, your washer and
yes.
dryer.
All
now
those
is
people,
smart.
oh look with the microphone, I can talk into my remote and change the channel. That's voice recognition,
See,
people.
I know.
Right.
I know. As a matter of fact, I think it's Chase, JP Morgan, something like that, has something where when you call in to talk to your financial plan or whatever it is, well, thank you for authorizing or validating that this is you by voice recognition.
Mhm.
I'm like, this is too much. On the phone, you're looking at my eyes, you got my thumbprint, you're looking at the shape of my face.
And you don't have a choice. I mean, because they've even gotten to where with the automated messages, it's speak or say this and that. It doesn't give you can't press the button. It doesn't work anymore. You're forced to use your voice.
Well, someone was saying, "Oh, get off of Facebook." It's too late. If your friends or family post a picture of you,
already
done.
Facebook is ready for you to tag. They're like, "Hey, I got some suggestions. Is this such and such? Is this such and such?"
See, I don't like
Yeah,
that.
you were tagged with so and so. Would you like to
I
go ahead and
don't
friend
like,
them?
I don't like that.
Yeah.
When I pulled up the thing on myself, it actually, well, first of all, it said I was white. That's wrong. But more importantly, it gave incorrect spellings of my name that the companies have sent out. They have those listed as my aliases.
Right.
I mean, it's not something I was using. It's just somebody put a GALTHE
Right.
something.
See,
And
and
they have that listed as a damn. I'm like, I didn't do this. Why
Right.
would this be listed as an alias? Like I'm not trustworthy or something. My
Right.
name is my name. I'm not.
Right. See, I always answer no, and they're like, "Was this? This is this. It's an alias for nope, nope.
Well, even if you pay attention when you go to apply for stuff online, and it'll say like, "Oh, we have some security questions. Which one of these addresses have you not lived at?"
Yes.
And this is a brand new application. You've never used this website or this company
And they
before.
have all of your stuff.
Which card have you owned?
That's
Yeah.
right. That's,
Yeah.
And that's
insurance
why.
does that.
Yes, and so that's also why these phone scams are coming up.
Mhm.
People don't understand. I refuse when a telemarketer's calling or someone's calling even about a job. Well, just so you know, this line is being monitored. This and that. I will do everything possible to not answer yes. I will not say yes. I will say that's correct. That's this woman, and they'll do everything to get me to say
Well,
yes.
that's how
I
you know they're not in
refuse.
Texas. So in the state of Texas, only one party has to know that the conversation is being recorded.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
So
if
Texas
they're-
is.
So if
Oh,
I call
wow.
you and I know it's recording, you
Then
don't
that's
have-
all that. That's
Well,
all
see,
that's
I thought it
needed.
was at least a better deal when you had to acknowledge, well, Winnie, I have my phone on.
Just let you know this will
yeah,
be a
just
recorded
as a
line.
courtesy. Again, etiquette, clause, but that doesn't matter.
Not in this state.
Not
Yeah.
in Texas. But I refuse to say that, and there's so many times, they'll hang up real quick. Is this so and so? They give them a government name. Is this so and so? Who's calling? Well, I just need to know. Is this so and so? Am I speaking of who's calling? What is this in regards to? That I will never say yes, because there's been one time when it first happened. Yes, who's calling? They hung up.
Right.
Immediately.
They want to confirm your phone number.
Confirm your phone number, but not even voice recognition.
Mhm.
Think about how many times, well, this is a recorded line with insurance, with your bank, financial
Yeah.
information or other stuff that's going on. Oh, well, we just need you to confirm, just say yes into this until we can authorize whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Well, I want to know what all this is going to be valued at when the time comes when when they're no longer using money and everything is going to have to go through the banks and all this other stuff. And then when they have this EMP, because
It's for when the aliens come
No,
and
there's actually-
exterminate us.
I really
Seriously.
believe that they are planning some sort of major outage.
War of the Worlds, people. Because RJ's over here laughing at me. Watch War of the Worlds. Watch with Tom Cruise. Yeah, it's an extermination.
Y'all mentioned a lot of good little shows. So one is
that actually scared me. Like, it really made me feel some type of way. I hadn't watched it, and I recently watched it. This was just a couple months ago. And it really did make me feel some type of way because, you know, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not crazy. I'm not, oh, you should, you know, one of those type of people. No, this is actually going to happen at some point. I don't know if I will still be alive. I don't know if it's going to happen in my niece's, you know, life. But it's going to happen.
Well, we have to let the author's addict have a second, or is this just your... Go ahead.
The author's addict. Yeah, because we're almost.
Yeah.
We're almost.
Yeah, you know, we got into this.
Yeah, we did, because this is really interesting stuff. I'm just compelled by the whole thing, but I have the cover of this wonderful, amazing opus by the Manners Maven, aka Marian Gap. It's Image.
You can't give me AK. It's got to be Delta Sigma Theta. You can't give me
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Delta Sigma Theta, Marian Gap. But the Manners Maven, this is a work that I'm going to discuss for a few minutes today. I'm going to encourage all of you to go onto Amazon.com. She is there. It's called Image. I Make a Great Employee, Executive, and Entrepreneur. And this is an etiquette training and social graces manual and book that I encourage you strongly to read. Download it. Right now it's available on Kindle. But I just want to share just a little bit about the book. Like, did you know that there is a difference between manners and etiquette? Well, there is. Manners come from your heart. They come from your compassion, your soul, your spirit. But etiquette is based on a set of rules in which we live by. Like, did you know there's gentlemen's clubs etiquette? Cigar etiquette.
That's right.
Yeah, they're different types. Golfing,
we have that in the book.
And it's all in the book. It's outlined. So whether you are a student or you're a professional or someone who's up and coming and just want to know how to be, I definitely want to share this book. It's an easy read. It's an absolute easy read for everyone. It talks about the truth about manners. If you don't mind, I'm so excited about this book because I have been reading it. I'm flipping the pages back and forth, and I've already started putting some things into practice. Like, for instance, there's a portion about wine, and for instance, the red wine glass is the bigger glass, you know, has the larger bowl, and the white wine glass has the more slender bowl.
I have defined all of that.
She's defined. It's defined on, you know, all the pages, and then the difference between the dinner fork, the salad fork, and the seafood fork. So you don't get to these formal luncheons and dinners and make a mistake and grab someone else's glass or say, what is this tiny little fork?
You don't embarrass your mom.
So you don't embarrass your mom, or you don't embarrass yourself, but also it teaches you how to be professionally. So I'm excited about this book. I want everyone to go out and buy it. It's a reasonable, absolutely reasonable price. It's on Amazon.com. Be sure to download it today on any of your devices.
Yes, we've also shared the link. Yes, we've also shared the link on our Facebook page. So, Miss Winnie Wash, go ahead and give out your information.
We'll give you on the way out.
Sure. So my website is www.herwellnessjourney.com. On there, you can get links to my YouTube. YouTube channel is Her Wellness Journey, and Instagram is Her Wellness Journey as well. Tune in for cool stuff from women here locally in Houston doing great things and being able to show off and help other women do their thing.
And that's what this is about, girl power.
That's right. The Manners Maven says, bring your best manners. BYBM. Keep that in your mind.
That's right.
That's from the Manners Maven exclusively, folks.
BYBM. Until next time, I guess we will see you next Wednesday. What, on the radio?
Absolutely.
In the meantime, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Winnie, thank you for joining us. You're welcome to come back and lecture anytime you want.
Oh, thanks.
And today's show was brought to you by Image. I Make a Great Employee Executive Etiquette Training Seminars, where life skills meet social graces. For more information, log on to www.yourbizimage.com. That's www.yourbizimage.com for more information. Have a good week, and let's have good manners.